Hello, I'm Fast Lawyer. Today we're going to do a Let's Play, and you can call this like a full review, a live review, for Guildford Castle VR, an app released today on the Steam Store, March 24th, 2022, for the HTC Vive, Valve Index, and the Oculus Rift. It is free to play. This is an educational tourist app. I highly recommend it. I have a list of 100 free Steam VR games, the best, and this is one of the best. So this is going to go on the list of my top 100 free Steam VR games. This is a great app. I really like the tour. It's kind of, now there are like audio narration tidbits, but it's kind of a self-guided tour where you walk around the castle area. And let's go ahead and start. Now, you do have full locomotion as an option. And I'm intentionally walking slow, so you can walk very fast. So let me show you walking very fast. So this is the top speed here. And the only reason I don't recommend that is because you will notice a lot of pop-in and visual issues. Let's look at the graphical settings. Okay, so these are the graphical settings. Hopefully you see that on the desktop view. But I have everything on Epic. I have pixel density at times 1.5. and FX quality at medium. And as you can see, movement, you got teleport, you got full locomotion, you got combo, you got hands. I assume that's swing locomotion. You can change movement speed, rotating speed, whether you want step rotation or constant rotation, smooth locomotion or snap turning, and forward direction camera or capsule. I'm not sure what capsule means. I think maybe it means where your motion controllers are facing, but I'm not sure. And then there's sound. Let's go ahead and let's click on this thing right here. So let's go ahead and click. And let's get the general history.
General history. As you step into the grounds of Guildford Castle, you're in the presence of almost 1,000 years of English history. Standing on this spot 900 years ago, you would be at the bottom of a deep ditch, staring up at a steep-sided mound carved out of the chalk landscape. Atop this mound, or motte, would have been an imposing wooden tower surrounded by a sturdy wooden palisade. Behind you and to the left was an open area called a bailey, surrounded by a bank and ditch, and another palisade, with various timber buildings, houses, workshops, stables and stores. This is a classic motte and bailey castle, introduced as a pivotal point in English history. The Norman invasion, where William, then Duke of Normandy, defeated the Anglo-Saxon King Harold following the 9-hour Battle of Hastings. The following years were marked by tumult and rebellion, and Duke William, known later as William the Conqueror, pursued an energetic strategy of castle building to consolidate his victory and dominate the defeated Anglo-Saxon populace. These were the first castles England had known, and were far from the romantic depictions of later medieval castles. To the populace, they were alien military structures, whose principal design was to overawe, control, and intimidate. They were deliberately placed in prominent, elevated positions, not only to better aid defense, but also to serve as an ever-present symbol of the power and dominance of the new Norman order. Close to 500 such castles were built at important towns and other places of strategic importance in the decades following the invasion, transforming the medieval English landscape. Guildford Castle, and the many others like it, therefore stand at the dawn of a new medieval era in England, marking the arrival of a new culture which over the coming centuries would make a profound and indelible mark on life in the British Isles.
Okay, that's pretty cool. So you see it shows a little flashback of how it would have looked back in history, and then you go back to the modern look, how it looks present day. That's pretty awesome. Now, the Capitol grounds are actually pretty big, but you want to notice some of the details that were put here in the floor, and maybe you notice some pop-in issues right now, some lighting issues. That's going to happen, but after a while, it does calm down, and you hopefully get a better view. I did change the pixel density to 1.5, and it seems like that was a mistake. Now it's okay. Now it's, well, up close, it looks great, but when I look just a little bit further away, I do see certain things popping in and out. Let me lower the pixel density. Sorry. That was a mistake. That was the one thing that I changed, and it was a mistake. I'm in an RTX 3080, and yeah, we definitely want to lower the graphical glitches. But this looks wonderful. This is almost photorealistic when I'm walking down here. Just some of the graphical glitches do take away from that, and like I said, there is pop-in. It is noticeable. But you want to reduce that by lowering some of the settings, and unfortunately I did the mistake of doing the opposite. I wanted it a little bit sharper, and that's the reason I changed the pixel density, but it seems that it was a mistake. But as you can see, the grounds looks amazing. Totally amazing. Great 3D photogrammetry. Like I said, this is almost photorealistic. And like I said, you can walk fast if you want. I'm walking slow intentionally by just pressing a little bit on my joystick. And all I have to do is, press it a little bit more to go a lot faster. So I can change this. I can vary the speed. Same thing with the turning. If I want a slow turn, I just do a little. If I want a fast turn, I can go really fast. So I like that this app has that. A lot of apps don't have that. About my only criticisms of this app is that I wish there were more VR interactions, or at least some VR interactions, because there really aren't any. Like, there's nothing that you can really grab or anything. Most of the interactions are just point and click towards those little information things that are strewn about the castle grounds. So you'll see those, and you'll get some audio narration. Sometimes you'll see some visual representations of the past as well, and that's very cool. I really like that, but this looks absolutely beautiful. Developers did a great job bringing this to life in VR. I can imagine that the only thing better than this is actually being there in person. But if you can't be, I'm probably not traveling to England anytime soon. Oh, wow, what's this? Whoa, we can actually go. Oh, wow, we're going through the bushes here. I did not know that this existed here. I'm still exploring the castle grounds myself. Let's go to the castle itself, though. So you see, again, this is the area around. And I would love to give a full tour, but it would probably make the video way too long, so I'm going to have to skip a lot of the tour. But that's okay. Like I said, this is free to play, and what I want for you to do is for you to download. I'll put a link on this video where you can download this app. And like I said, if you have VR, I highly recommend you stop watching this video and go ahead and do that right now. Let's watch the bridge here.
The bridge. You're now standing on the bridge, which gave sole access to the Tower Keep. The path to your left traces the line of the original ditch, then much deeper and narrower, and which continued to your right to surround the entire motte. The outer entrance to the castle is behind you, just beyond where the upper garden gate stands today. Up ahead, at the bottom of the steep path at the base of the keep, there would have been a stone gatehouse guarding access to the inner area. To the would-be attacker, these defences would strongly discourage direct assault. The new use of castles and the formidable static defensive positions they created altered the nature of medieval conflict, increasing the prevalence of siege warfare. The stone keep you see today was built in the 1140s during King Stephen's reign, amidst the bloody period of civil war and general civil disorder referred to as the Anarchy. Like many conflicts of the time, this was sparked by a succession crisis, ultimately leading to the invasion by his cousin Matilda, who claimed the disputed English throne. Matilda's forces were strong in the southwest of England, Stephen's in London and the southeast. The High Street of Guildford was the main road from London to the south coast and the west, making Guildford Castle of potential strategic importance in the conflict.
I really like this information spots here in the castle. There's actually several of them, and they're all really good. I highly recommend going through all of them. Now, like I said, I can't because it would make this video way too long. I thought you could go up here. We actually can get up there, but I guess just not through that way. I was for sure we could go through here, but I was right. You can go through here. I was just having. So as you can see, there, if you hit it at a certain angle, there is a pathing issue, but for the most part, you can go through the whole grounds, no problem. Again, lots of information spots here, and let's go into the. Let's see, is this one a short one? Development of the castle. Ooh, that's a little bit too long, and I still have yet to show the inside. So this is pretty cool. Like I said, I wish they had more VR interactions. That's one of my criticisms here. Like, you can't pick up these swords. You know, you can't touch them. Your hand goes straight through them. If they just had a little bit more VR interactions, this would be like the perfect educational app or tourist app. But yeah, it's still pretty amazing, and I highly recommend it. The ground floor, it's only 34 seconds. I think we can watch that. Okay.
The doorway to the ground floor, which you've just walked through, may be an original. It was perhaps hidden inside a forebuilding. This floor was probably a kitchen, storeroom, and a base for servants or soldiers. The windows are very small and difficult to reach, showing that defence was important at this level. The room you now see has been portrayed as an armoury, showing military equipment of both the Anglo-Saxon and Norman warriors of the early conquest period.
Okay, let's go upstairs, and then I think you'll really like that part. This is the best part of the tour. Again, if you're interested in this, I would say go ahead and download it now. Stop watching this video. Download this for yourself. Experience this for yourself. Don't let me spoil it for you. Okay, we definitely want to check out the 12th century interior, but before we do that, let's explore the modern one. And you can see the window here. Now, I am playing seated. If I stand up, you can probably get a little better view. So I'm going to stand up. And you can actually go through here. Pretty cool. And, you know, there's something about the garter robe. I believe that's where the king kept. And you can travel to the 4th century Guildford. We're not going to do that, but I highly recommend that you do that. Here's the bed chamber. Wow, can you believe that? And we can look out through the window here. Pretty cool, huh? Yeah, it looks awesome, right? Okay. Anything else? Anything else? Oh, this is the chapel here. Pretty cool. You can't really tell from the modern view, but let's go ahead and let's go to the 12th century interior.
The main chamber. Upon entering the keep via the narrow passage behind you, 12th century visitors found themselves here in the most important room in the house, the main audience chamber. Don't be deceived by the lack of decoration. This was the king's private apartment, and it would have been luxurious by the standards of the time. The walls would have been colourfully painted and draped with bright, elaborate hangings. The interior furnished with a striking polychrome furniture fashionable in the period. The king's bed was probably in this main room, which also functioned as a living room. The large windows show that defence was not so important here. Originally, steps led up to them and people could sit and gaze out. Feel free to explore the medieval interior. You can return to the modern keep and continue the experience via the hotspot.
You know what? I think I want to go to the was it the 14th century? Let's do that. See, it was right over here. 14th century Guildford. I think we want to check that out. This will be the last part of my video, but like I said, I highly recommend this experience. I really enjoyed it. Very educational. I learned a lot, and it was amazing to experience in VR. This is one of the best free-to-play apps. Like I said, it's going to be in my top 100 list of free Steam VR games. And just the level of detail here, all the little audio tidbits. And, you know, like I said, this is almost photorealistic. And I'm really glad it has like all the information included. Let me click on this here.
Medieval Guildford. Welcome to Medieval Guildford.
Let me stop that. That one has a audio bug in there. There's a little bit of an echo. Let's click on this one. This one doesn't have the bug.
The inner and outer bailies. By 1300, the castle had come a very long way from the original wooden defensive tower, reaching the peak of its development. You can see here both bailies, the inner enclosed by the whitewashed stone walls, and the outer by the wooden walls and towers. If you peek over the battlements, you can also get a view of how the motte and ditch would have looked. The complex of buildings in the inner bailey developed into a lavish royal residence, which hosted the royal families as they travelled the country from the 12th to the 14th century. The high point came in the reign of Henry III, who spent £1,800 developing and extending the buildings, a huge sum representing the fifth highest expenditure on a royal residence in England at the time. These include the Great Hall, the King's and Queen's chambers with their own chapels attached, lodgings for the princes and princesses and wider royal family, a knight's chambers, and all the kitchens and ancillary servants' buildings required to maintain the luxurious standard of living. The outer bailey was a more functional area, connected with military purposes such as mustering soldiers and stabling horses. There may also have been a number of working buildings such as blacksmiths, carpenters, and storehouses.
Okay, now there is mention of a God mode by going here. And so this is God mode. Pretty cool, huh? Now, obviously, the graphics here are different than the main game, than the main experience, where you're seeing the modern day castle, where it's almost photorealistic. This is more of what we're used to, with the with VR experiences. This is still pretty good, but obviously not the same quality. This is the recreation, obviously, of the village that doesn't exist, so it kind of makes sense. They can't really make it too realistic. But yeah, this is God mode, and you can explore like the whole areas of this 14th century Guildford. Anyways, I highly recommend this app. I enjoyed it a lot, and if I have to rate it, I would give it an 8.5 out of 10. This is one of the best free-to-play experiences on Steam VR. The only negatives I can think of is, just like I said before, there aren't really any VR interactions. I think that was a missed opportunity, with being able to pick up some items and whatnot. Instead, your hands go through everything. You clip through everything, and it could have used more of a guided tour versus the way it's done here. But I really like all the audio tidbits. There's a lot of information there. There's a lot of them all around. So there's a lot of information to get here. So like I said, I think it's one of the best free Steam VR experiences. One of the best, historical, educational, guided tours type. Well, not guided tours, but tourist type apps, where you go to a location and experience it in VR. This is a historical one where you're both experiencing the present day, but also the historical one. Anyways, yeah, I'm going to put a link on this video where you can download this app. And I'm Fast Lawyer. I'll also put a link to my list of 100 Steam, the best 100 of Steam VR games that are free. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And as always, have a wonderful day. Goodbye.